We are live. Let me hit that record button now. There we go. So, more. Okay. Hey, everybody. Sorry about the delay, but we are live here with Doc Williams of Brand Factory Inc. He also has a YouTube channel, Doc Williams. It's a great channel, by the way. Check it out when you get time. But we are here to talk to Doc about generative AI, AI agents, SaaS, software with a service also. So, Doc, please do a better job of introducing yourself than I just did.
No, well, thank you so much, Erica, for having me. So, my name is Doc Williams. I am a business solution architect, whatever you want to call it. The basic thing is I teach you how to save time and make more money using tools. And so, right now, with the advancement of AI. We're always talking about on the horizon all these new tools. So today we're going to be talking about generative AI. What does that even mean? How can you get started with this and how you can go from idea to crafting your next big product, create your own micro SaaS, micro app, whatever it is. We're teaching you how to do that. And it's not too late. It's time to start because it's 2025. Oh, you're muted, Erica.
Sorry, I just want to say that's so much better than how I introduced you. You know, when I first heard of generative AI, I thought it was something different than what you've already told me about AI. So, like, whew, I'm glad you're here.
No problem. And there's a lot of terms going out there. So we'll talk about that. Also, too, I guess, I'll announce it on LinkedIn next week. But now I'm also the program manager of something called low code engineers. So if people are they know what they want to create, they just don't have the time or know how to use Airtable, Xano, all of these back ends and front ends from no code. It's a marketplace that's vetted. I'm the program manager there. So if you're interested in all that, there'll be a link down below for you to have a discussion with me, and we'll find the best engineer for you on an hourly basis.
Nice. Thank you. Yes, definitely interested.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you want, do you want me to get started with generative AI is and kind of go through how to use it and things like that?
Yes, please.
Okay, okay. So there are a lot of different terms that are out there right now in Web3, and Web3 is a term, right? So Web3 is just the third iteration of web services, right? So Web2 was more mobile apps and all those things. It was optimized to be on your phone or in a mobile position for you to take advantage of the web. Web3 is just the next advancement of that. So what does that entail? Well, you have three main areas. You have blockchain, which would have like cryptocurrency and all of those different things, NFTs and DeFi and DAOs. But then there's another two portions, which would be machine learning and artificial intelligence. Now, as we've seen the last couple of years, depending on what's going on in the news, there's a rotation. Crypto is really hot in blockchain, and now AI has jumped off the page since ChatGPT really took over in the last 2 years. So people wonder, okay, so what is going on in AI? What are examples there? Well, there's different things such as artificial general intelligence, AGI, that's on the horizon. They're predicting when that's going to happen. It's not here right now. There are different things called like AI agents, and then there are other splitting different terms such as generative AI. So let's break down what generative AI means. Generative AI just means that you're generating something using artificial intelligence. So what are some examples of generative AI? Well, I bet you have all already used generative AI. What do I mean by that? Well, there is text generation. Well, what is text generation? Well, if you use ChatGPT, Jasper, Notion AI, anything like that, you're having a conversation with an AI to do a task that is text generation, right? So if you've used ChatGPT, if you've followed Erica, guess what? You have used some kind of text generation. The next one would be image. Image could be something like DALL-E, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, and the list goes on and on, whatever you prefer. But you're generating an image. A third would be video generation. If you're using, and we'll go through a couple examples and actually look at some of the tech and everything, but you're generating video from this. So some people are creating short films, those kind of things. Excuse me. And then there's two more. There's audio and video, and then there's code generation, right? So those are the different ones that you can do. There's tons of other ones, art and design. There's AI agents where you're using IDEs, so you're just basically development environments. So if you're using uh, agents like Replit agents, Lovable, Data Button, the list goes on, you can be doing that. So that's a pretty exhaustive list, and that might feel a little bit overwhelming. So what's the bottom line? The bottom line is generative AI is the act of generating something from AI, whatever that might be. Okay, so as we go through this, instead of feeling overwhelmed or it's like, oh, I've got to download or sign up for all of these different programs, think about this very simply. What are you trying to do in your life that you want to save time or make money? What do you want to do in your life where you feel overwhelmed and you want to offload something onto an assistant? That's what generative AI can help you do. So as you're going through this, we're going to go through some examples in the Q&A that we're going to have later that's only on Zoom. What I want you to do, everyone, the participants, write down what are you struggling with, what do you want to accomplish, and why? And then we can start looking at examples of different generative AI for your business or your life or any of those things. Erica, how am I doing?
So far, so good. I like the list of audio, video, and text.
Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen for a moment. One moment here. And while I was preparing for this, right, the simple thing is, right, you're like, how did he know all those things? Well, guess what? I just said, give me examples of generative AI, right? And it gave me an outline, and then I talked about it. So this is an example. They're like, oh, we're using it in so many different ways, right? But a lot of times when people are using ChatGPT, they're making it more complicated than it needs to be. When you're using chat, it's about how to utilize it. First of all, I always say just experiment it, whatever you want to do. But also, number two, getting better at prompts, and we'll look at other things in a little bit, like how you're using projects and different folders, and how you're asking it to create prompts. You can be more effective in what you're doing when you're using generative AI. And really, not only understanding or taking the first step in deciding what's great for you, but then understanding how to prompt correctly is going to be a game changer for you. And we'll look at examples from there as well. To get started, remember, I'm going to say this a couple times, but we already have an AI Agents for Beginners that walk you through how to use it, how to do the methodology, and then how you can create AI agents using Make, Zapier, or whatever. We have that. And then I want to say this too, because this isn't just a shameless promotion. It kind of is. But this one, it really is important where it's no code trends and AI trends for 2024. I see so many people that are like, well, I want to go in this direction to make money with this. We've done this report for 3 years, and we added AI last year, and we did it for this year as well. There are very interesting insights, what industries are making the most money, how they're utilizing no code and AI. And so the reason I just say this is plan out and use this with purpose. It is very easy to go down the rabbit hole of AI and to get overwhelmed and then just not being purposeful for what you're doing. So we'll drop that. Erica will make sure that you have all of these links and be able to download. These two are free, and we'll go from there. So let's just jump right into it. We're going to go through a couple examples and talk about how we can do this a little bit better. And I think this might be helpful. So I think I have this, Erica, I think I'm good until the 30 or something like that to go through this.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll take oh, what were you going to say, Erica? I didn't want to cut you off that last part.
No worries. I was gonna say you have to about 10:45 if you want it.
Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down these different examples, what I use, how we use them, and all of those things, and then go from there. So we'll use ChatGPT here. With ChatGPT, the biggest thing that you're going to be looking at is um, there's this is almost like an open canvas, like Google. right? So you've got to think about before you even start here, you might be thinking about, mm, I want to create I want to plan, how am I going to get my first client? And I might say I'm a graphic designer or something like that, right? So I'm going to be using Whisper, just letting you know, because I'm severely dyslexic. So shout out to Dan Perry that showed me this. So I'm just going to talk to it and then put in some stuff. I am a graphic designer. I am trying to get more clients in the United States, and I feel overwhelmed. How can I first get started and find my first client online? Okay, so I'm using another AI tool. I'm using Whisper that's using voice to do this, and I'm using this. Create for me a prompt to find a way to find my first client and to promote myself online. Okay, so what did I do right here? So I did my first thing where I first was asking a question, but instead of just going about and putting in my question, I'm asking the AI to create the best prompt to ask the question better for it. So I'm basically getting better with my prompt. So, and what is a prompt? A prompt is just what you're telling the system. What am I telling chat? Right? So it's memorating, it's updating the memory. And you notice right here, it says, here's a prompt to help you get started to finding your first client and promoting yourself. Now, did you notice prompt for finding your first graphic design client? Define your niche, build your own online presence, outreach and networking, right? So it's helping me here. And it says you would like to create more detailed plan. So what I'm going to do is I can just take this, right? I'm going to put it back here. And of course, I'm just going to say use this prompt to help me find my first graphic design client. And what I'm doing, a lot of people have basically different ways. Sometimes some people might just say, great, go do that. For me, I'm going to say my niche of graphic design, it's going to be logo design for startups, right? Identify a specific area. Yeah, so I already said logo design, right? So I'm going to do this. And I'm going to say logo design for startups. I'm going to say excel at. I'm going to say mockups and logos. Build your online presence, create a clean, professional. I don't have, now these are what I could be doing, right? And so it's telling me how I can get in front of the competition. Great. I'm going to cut out the online presence thing. And all I'm going to put in is outreach and networking. I like using Reddit and LinkedIn. Right? So what am I doing? I'm kind of using what it's already telling me to do, but now I'm being more specific before I ask it the same question again. Let me know in the chat if that makes sense. Right? So again, if we're thinking about this box that you're interacting with it, it's the same. If you hear prompt engineering, that just means how do you ask better questions or how do you give better commands to the AI? So I am asking it, what format does it like? Now with that format, I'm reformatting the same question again. So now that I have it, and of course, I'd be more detailed. I'd go through everything that they have. But say, for instance, I still made it more specific than it knew about me before. I'm going to send it again. Right? So if you look at this, I'm saying use this prompt. And now right here, it's giving me more specifics of what I need to do. Right? And now it's changing the subreddits based on what I'm doing. It's changing what I'm doing in LinkedIn, where I should be going. So again, it's being more specific on what I need. Now, this could be one conversation, which is great, but you can also create projects. I'm on the pro plan, so I'm not sure if I think projects you can do on the free plan for ChatGPT too. But basically, once you have a project, all of the same kind of conversations you can have together. Let's look at an example. I have YouTube creation. I have multiple conversations, so I run it and it has multiple threads. So I can now ask it one thing in a chat and it can pull all of these different references. So right here, I have YouTube Story Builder, how I do curiosity, fear, or desire title format. I have another title formula, video planning summary, storyline, teleprompter format, video title suggestions. So now when I'm ready to create a video in YouTube, I've created my own bundle of conversations that I've had with ChatGPT to be more effective than me to just create a one-time conversation. Or I'm like, where was that conversation I had like 5 days ago? Where is that? No, you bundle it with different projects and now you can have something. For example, another one, how to avoid scope creep with customers, right? So now I have a set of different things I'm working on, emails, concepts, different slide decks to do that, right? So that's the power of when you're using different text, generative text like this. Now, that is one way. And then if I want to add another flavor, I have something called Chatbase where you can create custom ChatGPTs for your business. So this is what I do for myself and for my clients. And if you look at this real quick, right, I've got Doc's help desk right here. So if people want to have access to me, maybe they can't, they're not in the position to buy a package with me in real time, they can buy my AI assistant, which will run through all my best practices, and I charge them $14 a year for that. Also, I was just working on, YouTube title generator. A lot of people liked what I did in ChatGPT. So now I can sell this as another chatbot. The other thing is too, how a freelancer gets their first customer or first client. I get a lot of questions on that. So this is going to be offered as a lead magnet for people to go through best practices to get their first client. So we went to generative text that was a common tool, and then we used one of the best in the business. I'll leave my affiliate link down below. Chatbase is one of those things that I use for myself and for my clients. You can see also too, I did this with my clients for Airbnb properties, right? So if one of my clients they needed to have a VA trained on what the best practices they wanted on their Airbnb properties, or also a widget for their new customers, what to expect when they enter the property. Now we created their own chat bot for that, and it leverages OpenAI. Okay, so we have that right there as the first thing. The next one example is, da, 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 da. Let's talk about, we'll talk about image generation in a little bit. There's so many things out there. And in the chat, let me know if there's something that you want me to touch upon, and I will. Let's talk about one of the things I really like. We'll talk about Replit and Lovable. So this is a big thing on the internet right now, or on just in general for coding. So this is where it's like an IDE. So basically, that's a developmental environment. But here you can create a bunch of different applications super fast. And so this comes back into leveraging multiple things at once. And what I mean by that is we can use chat, we can do generative text, and then it will help us to get better with this. So, Erica, can you give me an example of a micro app that you had an idea from, but you've never built before? Can you give me an example? It can be something simple. It can be a calculator. It can be anything you want.
Um, you know how AppSumo sends out an email saying that new, but they're not the only one. I was thinking maybe I could use a scraper to bring out that new for all the app deals.
So you want to scrape multiple websites?
Yes,
Okay. And then tell me more. And then you wanted to put it basically send out an email and everything like that?
yes, like the new stuff that's out, new
Okay.
deals or whatever.
Okay, now you're making my life hard, right? I said a micro app, and then she does this to me. Okay, I'm gonna go into an example of this. That's going to be in multiple parts. So yes, you can create a web scraper using something like that. But let me bring this up real quick. What you're describing is something we could probably do a lot easier with a AI web scraper. So give me 1 second. Let me bring this up. I'm on my other screen. I'm going to be showing you in 1 second. 1 second. Where is, excuse me.
Doc, may I ask, is
Yeah,
AI
sure.
web scraper better than Hexomatic, in your personal opinion?
That's a great question. It really depends, right? So that's a great point. I love that too.
Today I want to show you the
But
best practice of
I'm bringing it up, and I'm always showing sources and everything. I don't want to say like, oh, how did this guy come up with it? Because I Google and do a lot of things. So um, let's look at this. So the answer is you could do it, but that is going to be pro. Do you want an agent to do it where it's going to be able to have more of, how can I say this?
version of
Let me
different
put it that way. Do you want to have an agent be able to do more complex kind of scraping, or do you want something that is very programmable that you're going to do something similar to like Make or Zapier, where you've got to tell it, go here to pull this, and if there's anything outside of that realm, it will not be able to scrape. So it really depends because when you're using something like AI agents or using powerful things like this, it's going to be able to do more when you're using these LLMs, and that's a large language model, versus if you're just going to use something like Hexomatic as that I know of it right now. It could have changed since the last time I looked at it, but if it's the same format, you're basically telling it to do a very specific things, and anything that requires a login or is has a paywall, it probably won't be able to scrape. So if you need to log in, need to do something with a yeah, login, I'm not sure if it can do that. Do you know, could you give me more details, or do you know if it can do that?
So at first, when you said simple, I was just thinking about the new stuff that came out and you get an email. But after you said using AI agent, I was thinking maybe you could use it to be more specific to finding the AI that's geared towards your business.
Correct. I like that. So if you're using agent QL, you could definitely do it. You can definitely do that. You can even like say for instance, and I might do this as a upcoming micro app. Say for instance, you were looking for multiple jobs on Upwork and a bunch of different sites. You could make a query that I only want to see graphic design jobs, and I want it to run once a day and send me an email with all of the updated jobs found on Upwork. So that way you don't have to keep searching. You can see a curated list. I think that would be a great idea just to have it as a newsletter where people could subscribe to a very specific one like that and go from there. So the simple answer is yes. You would probably have to use Fire, Crawl, or Agent. It takes a little bit. You need to know a little bit of either Python or something, or ask, and we can go into another one. You could bring it into Replit and ask, I have this script. How do I scrape, or how do I create a scraper with that? We could do something like that. If we've got the time, we might go into that. But yeah, that's a way to do it. Does that make sense?
I think so. So now I'm thinking like how you go into LinkedIn and you type in what you do and it brings up the job list or the post, stuff like that. So now you can
Yeah.
have this be personalized for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
following you.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're thinking about that, then you can be more effective and or more curated on what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
But again, it comes hold on 1 second. It really depends on your goals, right? It really depends on the goal. So that's why I was saying at the beginning, can we please have a breakdown of exactly what you need for your business? What does it look like for you? That then allows you to find the right tool or what you're trying to do a lot more effectively, right? Um, so we have that. I want to show, can I do a rapid fire of different tools that I like using and then kind of we'll go from there? Or if there's more questions, I'll put it this way for this next one. Oh, I'm seeing chat. Hold on one second. Um, is there have you done a pickaxe versus chat base before? No. I think that's a great example. Hold on one second. Because I do like pickaxe. Okay, so what are the benefits if you're using like chat base and pickaxe? Pickaxe is going to have all the tools for you to create a business around using your chatbot versus Chatbase is more flexible and it's not necessarily meant to create or give access where they're taking payments for your chatbot. You can integrate it, you can put it in a lot of different areas for your business. And so you're not going to be able, it's not built out of the box exactly like Pickaxe, where it's meant for coaching or consulting or wellness and whatever you want, then you can start charging for your chat bot. So if you're looking at this one, and I think it's called either Crisp or Chirp, it starts with a C. It's UK based. That is going to be the main like difference right there. But yeah, that's a great example of looking at the two. Hold on one second. Chirp AI. I'll find it in a second. I always forget. I see what the logo looks like, but I have trouble finding it. So that is that right there. Okay, I'm going to give you an example, right? Let's just put it in right here. I'm trying to create a web scraper for different deals on deal sites and be able to consolidate all of my deals. All right, so I have that. Now let me zoom in for a second. Now you see when I have that, it says improve prompt. Now, kind of like what I just did in ChatGPT, right? I wanted the prompt to be better. I can say improve prompt. And right here, it's saying, okay, yeah, let's do this a little bit better. A web deal aggregator that scrapes and consolidates deals from various deal sites. The application should have. And you see how that's a little bit better than what I just said. Not only that, it gave me ideas of what it should look like and the style and things like that. So I can say, okay, I like this, I don't like this. But once I'm ready, I can say start building. And it's going to now start thinking it's going to have an AI agent right there. And it's going to be thinking about how it's going to structure my web application. What I also like about this too is usage for chat. It's telling me it's probably one of the most transparent platforms that tells me exactly how much it's going to charge when I'm building this, more than being more obscure. So it says, I'll help you create a deal aggregator website with React and Express. So it's telling me the code or what kind of code it's using. We'll implement a web scraping functionality to collect deals from various sources and present them in a modern card-based interface with search and filtering. Okay, I like that. Now it's saying, what would I like? So it's saying build the initial, but do I want to add user accounts and deal favorites, implement deal alerts in systems, add price history tracking, add rating voting system? Okay, I might just do rating voting system and I might do deal alerts, something like that. I already know if I'm going to do users or something, I'm going to have to add a backend and more complicated one. I just don't want to do it right now. So it's going to do the initial build. It's going to think about its life. Hold on one second. Okay. And as you can see right here, it's telling me we created a database for you. Manage it here. It's doing all the coding for me right here. So it's building out and it's telling me it created the database. It's telling me how it's doing this in what language. And yeah, we're going through the process. So if you were copying something from a template before, this just speeds up so much right here. Speeds up so much. And later on, I'm using the agent, but I can go to the assistant to ask questions about the code. So as you're going through this, you can actually learn a lot of the principles. And guess what? They also have like 100 days of Python with Replit. You can also do things like that as well. So now it's starting up the server and it's running it. And because it's cloud-based, you can do this wherever you're going, right? Now it says right here, look at this. Checkpoint. I don't know why that's free. No significant changes. Okay, I'll take it. I thought they were going to charge me 25 cents on that. Okay, so now it's telling me the 3 packages that it's installing in the environment to run it, everything like that here. And then it says, I've noticed there's an error in the schema definition that's preventing the application. Let me fix that first before we proceed. So again, what an AI agent is, it's doing tasks without me needing to prompt it. So I didn't need to tell it that there's an error or go fix this. It's self-patrolling itself and making the fixes for it, which is just amazing to me. And so it's doing all of these things. Okay. Erica, it's up to you. I see that someone's raising their hand. Do you want me to take questions now or wait for Q&A when we jump off in Zoom? Let me know.
Question and answers will happen after you finish your session. So please remember your question and hold on.
Good times. So we'll go through this in a second. Now, if we were talking about it, if I wanted to make this a bigger project, I could have used ChatGPT to build out what I wanted a little bit more. But as you can see, it's building, it's going through what it needs to do. And again, some people just take a cup of coffee or they take a break as it's building right here. But as it's going through every step, again, let me go on the left-hand side to show you. Okay, so I can look at the progress here. I can look at the console. So if I want to see what's going on, I can do web view. So the preview, I can look at it and I can deploy from here as well. So I could just host it and deploy it from Replit if I wanted to. Excuse me. Database. And then we also have all tools right here, right? So we can decide on all the things we're going to do. So this one, they're adding a couple different things. We're seeing that it's resuming and still working. Let me give one more example here as it's working in the background. There's another one that we've done as well. It's bolt.new, where you can basically build out different platforms as well. Let's see, online side hustle database implemented. I'm going to spin up one that we had. So you're seeing how right now it's not running when I'm not using it. So let's see if it can preview my online side hustle database. And you see right here, this was an idea I had. I wanted to have different categories to think about different online side hustles. I can look at how to get started, resources, all those things. And then this was just built with prompts, and you can see all of that. So all of these different ones are a little bit different. And as you can see, changes applied, pulling schema. So now it's telling me as I'm going in real time what it's doing and how it's fixing all of those things too. So in the Q&A, I can kind of show what it looks like at the end now as it's doing it. And some people are like, well, man, it's taken 3 minutes. Yeah, well, it's building the full structure of a database. So depending on what you're structuring and how complicated your app, it's going to depend on how fast it can build as well and how much detail. The more detail you give it, the faster it can work as well. So if I'm creating this, I want to create an online database where it's tracking different side hustles. Create for me a prompt to create that MVP. All right, so we have this. It's giving me the prompt. Right, it's telling me what I want. User-friendly interface. Okay, all that stuff. Great. What's going on with it over here? Still thinking. Okay. Now, would you like help designing the database? No. Please create a PRD for me. All right, so it's creating the product requirement document. So now it's creating a more scope version of what I can give the chat. Okay, still resuming. Good. Erica always making it do complicated things. Okay, so say for instance I have this, it's telling me the MVP, the storyline, the timeline, landing pages. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here, right? So I'm gonna copy this. Okay, I'm gonna put it in, what was I using? Bolt. I'm creating a online curated database. I'm calling it a name here. I'm telling it the purpose and scope. I'm going to tell it to run. And the more detail, now it's going to cost me less credits. This is important, especially when you're generating and things like this. Different platforms charge you different amounts based on what's happening here. Right now, we're seeing that it's doing something with, looks like with SQL. Yep. So it's going into the library, installing these things. Just going to refresh and see what's going on with my deal hunter. No, it's still, let's wake it up. Resume this. Okay, so right here, it's building out. You need Superbase. If you need Superbase, discard. Now, right here, as you're going through these, a lot of people, and I did this on purpose, a lot of people get fearful of like, oh my goodness, something failed. Well, the great thing is I can screenshot why it failed. I just say, refer to screenshot for error. And then I'm attaching the error. And then it thinks about its life. And then it goes from there, right? So see, I notice, create the browse or imported, see? And so now it's finding its own errors. I created a struct and boom. And then it just did that, right? So a lot of times people might be like, I knew it, it's not perfect. Well, no, it's not perfect. It's not perfect at all. But when you're going through this, you can go through these different aspects to make sure that you're viewing yourself more as a project manager. A project manager, and so you're seeing what the agents are doing and then explaining to it to how to iterate and get better from its errors. And so when you're doing any kind of generative AI, it's about understanding what questions you asked it, what did you prompt, and how to get better. No matter if you're doing text, animation, video, it doesn't matter. It's the same methodology over and over again. Kind of went a little bit into the weeds right there at the end, but I think at the first we were talking about it, if you're just joining, it's really important if you're thinking about what are you trying to solve? Are you trying to make your life easier? Are you trying to automate things? Are you trying to make more money? Are you looking for an assistant for something very specific? Write down what you're looking to do. Don't look at all of these tools because it could feel weighed down and bogged down of what you should do and all those things. Go there first and then be able to start using these tools. I'll give you a quick example. One of my friends and business partners, he is a videographer and he works with a lot of local businesses. One service that he wanted to add, he was doing all of these videos, but he's like, what if I had a custom song for all the businesses I work for and I could sell them custom songs with my packages or I do the videos? He now uses a lot of AI generative music. It's a quick song. And by the way, he's a songwriter. So he would do a prompt of this is what the song would be about, create the song. And then now they think that's the best thing in the world. He can double his rates right there just by having something like just that basic. So look for different ways that you can do it. You can do it for fun. You can do it for your business. But don't let all of these fancy words scare you. Generative AI is just how can you use AI to better your life. And so if you're interested in more, I also do consulting. There'll be a link down below Erica will give you to contact me, or just follow me on my YouTube. It's free. And we do this every single week with these different tools.
All right. Thank you, Doc. I appreciate you being here and sharing your time, energy, and knowledge with us. I feel like that was very useful. So,
Thank you.
one more thing. Would you tell us the two downloads you were offering?
Yeah, I can do it. I'll share my screen and then I'll go from there. So the two different ones that we have is download the 2024 No Code and AI report. It's sponsored by Low Code Engineers. This breaks down how people are making money, the top platforms they're using in no code and AI. And so grab that. This is our third edition. The third year we're doing it in a row. And then also we have AI agents for beginners. It teaches you the concepts of what you need to do to create an AI agent, no matter what platform you're using. And you can get both of those things for free because you're following Erica and her wonderful program.
All right, appreciate that, Doc. So if you want to hang out with Doc, uh, follow his YouTube channel, Doc Williams, and you can also find him on Twitter, and I think that's also at Doc Williams.
That's going to be underscore Doc Williams. I couldn't get the full thing, but underscore Doc Williams. That's where I'm most active. I'll answer every single question in YouTube, but if you want me quicker, just hit me up on Twitter. I'll be right there.
All right. So if you want to meet more cool people, more brilliant people like Doc Williams, join the Virtual Summiteers peer group because we have brilliant people come and speak with us every first Friday of each month. So other than that, we are going to let the live stream go and we're going to do some question and answers.